The fight we all asked for, bantamweight bout between Lina Lansberg and Mayra Bueno Silva. I'm a little surprised Lina Lansberg's still in the UFC. 10-7. I mean, she's 40 years old. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you still in the UFC? I'm sorry, but you could. I mean, you just gotta have the love for the game at that point. She's 2-3 in her last 5. Comes in this one as a plus 415 underdog. Mayra Bueno Silva comes back at minus 415. 3-1-1 in her last 5. Coming off the submission win against Stephanie Edgar. Over-under set at 2.5 rounds. Minus 147 for the over. Plus 147 for the under. Odds courtesy of BetOpenly. What do you like in this one? You taking
Not a lot. I can't get to the dog here. I just, at 40 years old, Lina, she does have some knockouts on her record. I think she's got 4 KOs on her record and then six decision wins. So those are her wins right there. She's also been knocked out 3 times and she's never been submitted. So that's what kind of makes it tough to me, because I think Bueno Silva, is used to, she gets all these arm bars and submissions, and when she gets it on the ground, she just grinds until she finds some kind of sub. But against Lina, she's never been submitted. So that makes me a tad bit worried, because if I am going to play a play on this fight, it's not going to be the money line for the favorite here at over minus 400. It would be Bueno Silva by submission. But Lina, a little bit older, that makes me feel better. Bueno Silva, that nasty armbar against Stephanie Edgar in her last fight. That's what I would lean right now. I'm interested to see what the odds are, because if it's close to even money for that, I don't even know if I could get there, just because Lina's never been submitted. I might look at a decision prop for Bueno Silva. I just don't see Lina going out there and beating Bueno Silva in this one, especially at her age. 3-fight losing streak. But, women's MMA can be extremely weird. It can be unforgiving. You could have a massive play that you think is going to hit, because this girl hasn't lost in 3 fights. She's been submitting everybody. And then the girl she's fighting hasn't won in 3 fights. And then she goes out there and gets flatlined. So you just never know. But Bueno Silva's the pick. By submission's what I'm leaning. I'm going to look at that decision prop as well when it comes out. But yeah, just kind of a non-appealing fight in this one, in my opinion.
You mentioned Lansberg had some knockouts, but you failed to mention that was 7 years ago when she was 33. Little spring chicken, 33-year-old Lina Lansberg knocking people out. But since then, she is 4-7. And she or 4-6, I should say. It just doesn't really look good for her at this point. 3 straight losses. Sarah McMahon lost to Penny Kianzad and a loss to Carol Hosa, which she got a point for because she got kneed in the face. But yeah, I don't know. These spots are just super greasy because it's lower level women's MMA and bantamweights at that. So, I mean, a little bit more finishing ability for the bigger girls, but Lansberg hasn't been able to do that in a while. Bueno Silva got a lot of submission threats, a lot of armbar finishes. She got pretty decent stand-up. She came into the UFC as a flyweight and then made the move to bantamweight in 2022, and she's 2-0 now. So fighting out of shoot to box. So she's got that Charles Oliveira style that they all kind of really do. Aggressive on the feet, will take one to give one. So if this fight is a stand-up battle, I would give the edge to Bueno Silva, but that's probably not her easiest path to victory. Her easiest path to victory would get the takedowns. Lina Lansberg is pretty easy to take down at this point in her career. She's got 48% career takedown defense, so not very good. But Bueno Silva doesn't really look for the takedowns. She's really a stand-up girl until she's on the ground, and then she's got good submission threats if she's there. Like in her last fight, Stephanie Edgar, great judo martial artist or judo athlete, we'll say, I guess, gets her to the ground, and then she snatches up the armbar. And I don't know. I mean, what's the game plan for Bueno Silva? That's kind of my question here. Because if it's a stand-up battle, I don't like that really going to a decision with that ticket for women's MMA.
Right.
But the props you mentioned, by submission or by decision, definitely be looking at that. But yeah, just moving forward with this fight. Like you said, Lansberg hasn't been submitted, but we also saw that Luke Boonmay had never had a submission last week.
True.
And Elise Reed had never been submitted. So maybe they give us a little bit better price on that. So something to keep an eye on, but Bueno Silva was the pick, and the props was probably the move in that one.